buy some more snacks.
You guys are fucked up. I need a mirror.
30 seconds. Here we go.
All right. Breaking news. Again for this edition of the Stiles Report with Erin Stiles. I have a guest in the building this week. my friend Dott is in the building.
What's up,
So I'll probably be laughing more than usual because she's gonna make fun of me, but it's okay. We're gonna push through it.
Mm-hmm.
So how was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's last week? I should say.
Memorial
anything?
Day? It was cool.
It was Memorial Day?
It was Memorial Day last Monday. I did absolutely nothing on Memorial Day.
No, just
What is Memorial Day? That's
Memorial Day actually was started by Black people, as everything else in this country has started. It was actually started by Black people to memorialize their fallen soldiers. So the people from their community who had fallen and they had, fought in the different wars. And of course, the government saw it was popping, so they hijacked it and made it a national holiday. However, there was a gentleman giving a speech last week.
Yeah, and they cut his mic off.
Yeah, an older white guy was giving us a Memorial Day speech, I believe at like a cemetery or whatnot, something traditional. And in his speech, he was giving homage to the Black founders of Memorial Day and how Memorial Day originally started. And they cut his mic.
All the way off.
All the way off. So he couldn't talk. And at first he said he thought it was just like a glitch or something. So he kept speaking and they never cut it back on. So they don't want you to know that we are the originators of holidays.
That nigga shit off.
But this is kind of leads me into my first topic, which has been a big deal in the States and kind of globally, is cyber crimes, right? Cyber crimes, right?
Yeah,
because
what?
Right. So a lot of times traditionally our military, the budget has always gone to like our traditional military defenses, right? Different branches of the military and whatnot. But what they didn't, I guess, budget for was the cyber crimes, right? You have all these people are getting hacked now. So you remember a couple of weeks ago we had that gas shortage on the East Coast because they hacked the pipeline. Then we've had a chicken shortage because they hacked one of the major producers of chicken in the country. So that's kind of like what they're doing now is they're starting to hack these systems. Because if anybody has ever worked anywhere outside of a major city, like if you've worked in a Los Angeles or even like a Houston or something like that, outside of there, you realize that most of the people don't know how to work computers. They definitely don't know how to work the internet. They don't know what spyware is. They don't know what clickbait is. Like just these little things. So they're like phishing emails and stuff are. So one of the DOJ. This past weekend, they did a press conference on it yesterday about how they intercepted a hacking group, had a company that got hacked. They intersected the money into a Bitcoin cryptocurrency wallet and actually took the money back. They didn't get all of it, but they got $2.3 million of it. Yeah, so what they're trying to do right now is like a lot of out of touch politicians are wanting to. They're writing some type of legislative laws and shit, right?
Niggas gotta leave that word alone.
Right.
They try to draft new
legislators.
They try to draft new laws that basically makes it illegal to pay ransom if you happen to get hacked. Right? Because they don't want this to be the 2021 terrorism, right? But as a business, so this is where I pose the question to you guys, and I also pose the question to the callers. What's the phone number? Where's that little thing at?
I can't see the.
Oh yeah, I just had it. Okay.
I can't see
also, people who are listening, 818-914-4087. I want everybody to call in and give me your opinion. So do you think... Oh, well, look. There we go. First caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
That word was fucking you up.
It was. I'm still
like you sound like you was in a Mike Tyson fight with that word.
It's about fuck the comment unburned. Just like you don't know how to.
So,
you don't know how to
Vernon, what is your take on that? If you have a business and your business happened to get hacked, but they have made a law that it's illegal to pay your ransom, what is your take on that?
My thing here it is. I feel like a lot of this shit is planned, and a lot of this legislature that they pushing through is more so to the point where they're going to be able to monitor everything, every keystroke you do, and people are just they're gonna go with it because it's safety. So you have to be very careful on what legislature that people just allow to run through, because see, if people not paying attention, the wrong shit will go through, then everybody standing there looking stupid and don't know what's really going on.
Shit, even when we paying attention, the wrong shit go through.
So as a business, do you feel like their hands are tied and they have no choice but to pay it? I mean, I can see it from both angles.
If you're a business, you should have some type of legal recourse where you don't have to pay, because you know, if you have a cell phone and you open the wrong shit, your phone is under siege as well. They can lock your phone, and you have to quote unquote pay them to unlock your phone.
Well, they have to have firewall.
Okay, that's a
that
good point.
Ransomware too.
That's a good point, Brian.
And as you were saying that, I was thinking about there's a whole nother industry that can sprout out of this, and it's a ransom insurance, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, all these other businesses, you have to have all these different types of insurance to insure your business. But what if they get it to the point that if you have any type of, your business is ran off of any technological platform, you know what I mean?
Which is almost going to be everything.
Right, if you don't use this certain software, or if you guys don't follow this checkpoint to say that you guys have like a secure enough firewall, then now you guys have to pay ransom insurance, and it's just another overhead
I feel
cost.
like there's no way that it was that easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy. It was that way where people just go in and say, you know what? We're going to shut the whole coast. We're going to shut the whole West Coast down, so ain't damn motherfuckers going to get no gas.
No, I believe it is that easy, because if you've ever, usually the people who are running
the
these
whole world down.
Right, usually the people who are running these corporations. Thank you for calling in, Vernon. Thank you. I didn't mean to hang up on you so
Nick
quick,
did.
but I believe that
back,
it is.
Mark.
I believe it is that easy, because if you think about a lot of these corporations, they're usually ran by older people, extremely old, like, you know what I mean, 60s, 70s, 80 years old, and they barely know how to work a computer. They usually have an assistant or all this other stuff, or you're in the backwoods, Mississippi, so you don't think any of this stuff is, like, who wants to target us? We're just a food processor,
I mean, it's more for small businesses, because who I work for, like, they have all that shit in place, like.
But do they really though? I feel like everybody thinks that they're protected.
I mean, they do,
because
but
they've never
like,
been.
But they make it, you're the liability. Like, for instance, some of our information got leaked, and they sent us an email, but you had to decide if you wanted to take advantage of what they were offering,
which is like the credit protection and stuff like that.
But if you didn't, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
But what was the recourse for the customers, like you as the employees?
The same thing.
Oh, they offered it to everybody who was involved.
But like the majority of people, who's checking their mail like that, or if it didn't come in an email, which they didn't email all these people, they sent out correspondence.
Well, I think that we need to keep a closer eye on it, because they just made this press conference yesterday, right? And this morning we get up and Reddit, Amazon, CNN, PayPal, Spotify, Al Jazeera Media, and the New York Times, all of their websites were down today. For the majority of the day, you could not access any of those major sites. So they have tracked it all back down to a Russian hacking group, So basically what it is it's ransomware for hire. So what they do is they sell a third-party hacker, the ransomware, right? You go and hack, say, Kraft. They pay you $2.3 million, and then you have to give them a percentage of what it is that you got off your hack.
Sounds like America to me.
Right. So the Russian government, what they're saying is that the Russian government is well aware of what's going on, but they're not doing anything about it, because from their perspective, it's bringing money into the country.
Also,
and they're not hacking Russian companies
with America. Like,
you said what?
I'm saying? It's probably us together. We probably giving them the information to fucking hack us and be like, yeah, ask us for money back.
Okay.
So we can, you know what I'm saying? Like, they probably, like, It's benefiting to both of us.
Well, to anybody and everybody listening, I would say take this week to double check all of your passwords, all of your protection, all of everything that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Go do a thorough sweep, even if you have to reboot, because I know everybody's using the same 2-3 passwords with your son's birthday at the end of it.
Hilarious.
Right. Right. So
that's how we remember. Fuck.
That's how you remember. But everybody this week, you know what I mean? And no, seriously, because it's like, what happens if the bank gets hacked? What if these are test runs? Because this is a new war. Everybody thought World War III was going to be.
All my shit linked anyway. Like my ATM pin, all that shit, the numbers are the same. Like.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is that, what if.
You get one, you get all.
Yeah,
What if they're doing. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Dana calling from Woodland Hills.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, Trina, I miss you.
I miss you too. I don't know you called me.
Say it again?
I said I miss you too.
No, you said something after that.
I did, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah, all right.
She might tell y'all business. How you doing today, Dana?
I'm good. I wanted to chime in on Erin's comment about the cyberware.
Okay.
Please.
This is what America gets. This is what America gets. This is what the world gets because they outsource all of their tech and cyber stuff to other countries.
Okay.
Facts.
And this is part of the problem. And when you could take all the Google classes, the Microsoft classes, have all the certifications, be highly trained, and they're still going to accept or look at other applicants before they look at you. And it could be an American company. So they outsourced all their tech business to other places, and this is what they get.
So what do you think the solution is? Like, how do we protect ourselves at this point? Because that shit's already out there.
I think because all of the tech information is global, I don't think there is no pullback at this time. I remember several years ago watching a TV show called The Good Wife, and this came out about hackers in Russia, selling or holding people's passwords and everything for ransom, and we're getting this. I have not received any less than 5 notifications of my information possibly being breached.
Oh, wow.
Me too.
It's Google, it's PayPal, it's anything that we pay for a service, but we're always encouraged to pay all of our bills and utilities online, but we're also subjecting our passwords and our financial information to hackers and anybody else that wants to sell it and buy it.
To me, it doesn't matter because once you put everything in your phone, you've already given your carrier the
and anybody could get next to your phone and use one of those duplication devices and pull your information.
People should be a little bit more vigilant.
They should.
Maybe starting separate email accounts. Like one email account is just for straight online shopping and just for bill pay and stuff like that. So if happens to get hacked,
that's what I have. But also, have you noticed that everybody is using business accounts, but they're using underscores? Everybody has an underscore. It's just like, okay, that's not the solution.
I mean, like
once I hear 2 or 3 underscores in someone's email address, I'm never using it again.
I agree, but there was a segment about this, how your phone number is attached to a lot of people. That's their second defense of is your phone number. So once they get their phone number, they were doing SIM swaps, where basically they would call AT&T and say, hey, I want to, swap my SIM and get a new one. And from there, they were able to get into your email address and to your bank and stuff, because most of the time they say, we're going to send a text to your phone, you know what I mean?
Right.
Read that password. And this guy said that from the moment he got the text from his phone saying, basically, the second notification to the time that all of his money was gone was like 15 minutes.
How much money did he have?
He said he had like $1.3 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, once they get all this information, like, I don't worry because I don't think I'll be a subject of a victim because I don't have that kind of money. Like, once they get through all of that,
my friend, her payroll was taken twice.
But like, if you don't have no substantial amount of money, what's the purpose of robbing you?
No, I get that.
They will take that $2,000. When your payroll hits, they'll take it. And now it's a big issue with the app-based work. people that like do Instacart and DoorDash and everything, they're duplicating their accounts and saying, oh, we're going to send you an email or we're going to call you, give us the code that we sent you. They give it to them, and then they hack their account, and then all the money they generate is app-based, so they just pull that money off the account.
See, I
because it doesn't go anywhere, it's just sitting there.
Thing. Because, like, I get text messages all the time, but if I know I haven't made any transaction, like, if I'm doing Instacart or whatever, and I've been doing it consistently for however long, and then all of a sudden I get a random, I'm immediately finna call.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just send I don't respond to text messages. Like, when Chase sends me, even though I know it's Chase, if Chase will send me a text message and be like, you just pulled $150 out of your account or whatever, I don't respond to it. If they be like, type yes for no or whatever, I just call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it just depends on who you are. Like, I don't trust it. I never trusted it. So I don't respond to these different things. So, like, I agree with you that, like, everybody should be more vigilant. But if you're, like, a person who just automatically responds to things, like, then you're setting yourself up for...
Right, but like you said, I do think it's a generational thing because a lot of people who actually have the type of money to be stolen are not hip to the game when it comes to technology, so they're usually the ones that get got. Thank you so much, Dana, for calling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Real quick before you change topic, did you guys see that Apple just had Apple, the company, just had to pay out millions of dollars because the Apple repair technicians were stealing the information.
Yeah, because they niggas and
So, you know,
they thieves.
Who
doing background checks?
You gotta unlock your phone, all that shit.
Right.
And they're in your phone, so they get the chip and shit.
Yeah,
so
they all in it.
I don't know how they ended up proving it, but that the Apple repair, who from the Apple repair team were actually taking the information.
So now they probably have to do like background checks and all.
And that's another thing a big thing that's going on with Apple right now with their newest update. They have allowed their users to opt out of the automatic what am I trying to say? Tracking.
Yeah, like I do.
Apps, yeah,
because I say don't allow.
And now that's fucking up because it all comes back to your attention. Basically your eyeballs and what you're interested in because it's all marketing and it's all money. So if they can't track you and see what it is you're doing, that basically is a trickle down effect and fucking up people's bottom line because they don't know who you are as a person, so they don't know how to market to you.
So you know what that tells me? That they really tricking you into buying shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Right.
Like you don't need none of this shit.
No.
100%.
I looked at my closet the other day and I was like, why do I have so many fucking pair of shoes and I got 2 feet? Like I just did. Like if someone
like for me, it's like you like what you like. Like
this shit was ridiculous.
No, I mean even but like that's on you, right?
Exactly. I had to do reality.
But like for me, it's like that's what I like. So like, I'm gonna always have shoes. Like, but I don't buy every shoe now. It's just about like paring shit down because shoes gonna cost regardless.
So like crackheads. See, I just don't buy every shoe.
No, like it's not even crackhead. I'm just saying like before I would buy every shoe, like every Jordan, but now I just don't. Like you know what I'm saying? Sometimes now I just buy like what I like.
What size shoe do you wear?
A 9. So, like, what you gonna buy me some shoes or what?
I was trying to figure out where I was going to take that. I'm like, is that relative to you?
No, because I want to buy some of your Jordans off of you. I've never had a pair of Jordans before.
No, I don't wear 9 in women. Like
I've never had a pair of Jordans in my life, and I told myself
like a 10 and a half
last year that I wanted to get a pair of Jordans. I want a pair of just basic regular Jordan 1s.
And that's because you didn't want to pay that money, right?
What? I only want to pay retail. I don't want to pay anything more than
that's what I'm saying. Retail,
plus
like it
tax,
don't even matter. Like I didn't spend so much money on shoes. Now it's just like
I just feel like someone's like, oh, I can get them for $380. I'm like, but they're $170 out the store. Like, why would I pay?
Well, you need to go in the store. Like that means if you really.
But now you can't just go in the store and buy them. They got this whole lottery bullshit to go.
No, you can go in the store and buy them. You just have to make sure they got them. You know what I'm saying?
That's too much for me.
But like it's difficult now because people are reselling them. So, like, if you ain't about to get up early or do all that extra shit, you gonna have to pay whatever.
I just resold some old ass Jordans I have for like $500.
Yeah, like, because somebody gonna buy them.
500 for these niggas. Take this shit.
Or you just look on different things. Like, you can look on OfferUp. Like, I done found J's for like $80, $90. You just gotta look.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get you some J's.
Right, we're gonna give me some J's. Okay.
No, you a grown ass woman, get your own J.
Good point, Kate.
I have been trying to get them, but every time I try to get,
trying hard enough because they everywhere.
They're actually not everywhere that I've been looking. They're not there.
No, they not for retail everywhere you've been looking.
Oh yeah,
but they everywhere.
Going to the shop spots. You gotta go to
you know what I'm saying. If you really wanted some Jordans, you would have been and bought some.
Like, just get some Jordans.
Yeah, I do. I just want a pair of regular. I just want some ones.
And then you're going to have to pay. Because if you're not getting them when they come
When does it fucking schedule? I don't even know. Like, that's my whole thing.
Then that's what I said, that you don't want no J's.
What size shoe you wear?
I wear a 9 and 9.5 in
women.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a 7, 7.5?
An 8. Let's just go with an 8.
Yeah, like, and that's like anything between 7 and 10 sold out. I'm saying you either gonna get lucky or you're gonna have to pay, the upsell price.
Y'all get Erin some checks.
Right. Somebody at least just send me the link to the schedule for the drops. At least let me be in the know.
Or African,
I tried one time on the fucking sneaker app and it didn't happen, so I was discouraged after that. Like, all right, but on to the next. So let's talk about a little international news. Okay. And this is about the bigger question I guess I'm posing is how much right and authority does a figurehead of a country have to limit the access to their citizens for certain things? I'll give you the backstory. So on Friday, the Nigerian president, Buhari, tweeted something that Twitter deemed to be inflammatory, right? So they deleted the tweet. So I guess ever since the whole Donald Trump thing and the deleting of the tweets, they're starting to have kind of like a across the board policy with figureheads on the app. Come on, all y'all could get it if you saying some slick shit, right? So he made this tweet, which they thought was inflammatory because it touched on a civil war that they had for 30 years. But this is what his tweet said. Many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what he wrote. They felt like he was referring to a brutal 2-year Nigerian Biafra war, which estimated to kill at least 3 million people, mostly from the Igbo tribe in the eastern part of the country between 1967 and 1970. So basically what he's saying is that, a lot of these people are too young to remember the war, but since you are not understanding it, we're just going to speak in your language, which was basically kind of like inciting war as if Twitter saw it, right? So to give you a little bit more, so earlier this year, Twitter decided to have a international headquarter on the continent of Africa, and they chose Accra, which is the capital of Ghana, to be the headquarters. It was between Nigeria, Ghana, and a few other countries, and they chose Ghana to be the headquarters for their new international headquarters. Nigeria was all up in arms because nobody ever picks Nigeria, because I believe Facebook also chose Accra as well, chose Ghana as their new headquarters as well, because Nigeria just can't get their shit together, right? I just came back from Nigeria in January. They can't get their shit together. If I was a business, if I had a company, I wouldn't risk all that money to put it there because it's just too unstable. So long story short, he makes this tweet on Friday. They delete the tweet. He's upset that they deleted his tweet. So he bans Twitter in the entire country. You are no longer allowed to get on Twitter. Their phone carriers do not carry it. All of the Nigerian citizens who are at home are having to use VPNs to access, to getting on Twitter. So my question to you is, do you think he's right? Do you think he's wrong? And how much power should one man have to basically regulate what type of third-party app, so to speak, or technology that his citizens are able to use? Because he said that they say he's been in talks with China on how to create the similar firewall that China has to recreate it in Nigeria. So callers, 818-914-4087. I ask you, how much authority should one person have, especially if head of state, when it comes to regulating the technology that their citizens have?
Well, I have a question.
Okay, hold on one second, caller.
My question about Nigeria. How do they select their leaders?
They have a election.
Oh, then
Democratic.
They subjected to whatever the fuck going on then.
They have a Democratic.
You pick that nigga, then it's on you.
Right. And he was horrible. He was horrible the first time. They gave him a second term. He's even worse. But caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I don't see nothing wrong with what he did. China do it all the time.
But does it make it right just because somebody does it?
Shit that we don't like.
Yeah, but see, China, I don't think China elects
It ain't. It's about, you said, the power that one man can have. He is the president of that country. He say, this shit, we ain't having it, then they ain't having it until they have another president, or however they decide how many terms that the man gonna have. If he in all his terms, he's like, look, we ain't popping with Twitter no more, because Twitter pissed me off. They have to deal with.
So what if America, because they're a democratic country as well. So what if America takes the same stance and they say there's no Twitter, because it's like, who's right and who's wrong?
Does do that. They just don't ban Twitter in the world. What they do is they shame the person.
Right.
So if the individuals say something on Twitter, they'll publicly shame that person, and that sends a message to everybody else to tone that shit down.
Okay.
Like,
so it's the same thing. It's like
here's the case. Like, I think it was Twitter or whichever one of these damn social medias it was. Jones, whatever her name is, Big Jones or whatever the fuck, the comedian.
Big Jones.
Leslie Jones.
On whatever platform it was.
Big Jones.
And whatever platform it was got a hold of it and was like, you know what? We're blocking all you motherfuckers for trying to get at Leslie Jones. It's a few celebrities that got, they got help from whatever social media they was on because they were being bullied or whatnot. I feel like it's fine as long as it's done with tact. And somebody say something, no, you can't just, we have a universal. No, it can't be universal. It has to be.
It's right or wrong.
Whatever the subject is. If you read it, because I know they read the tweets and all it, and like they read all the shit. So let's not misunderstand that.
But Vernon, I don't think even hearing what the statement that the gentleman from Ghana made. Thanks, Vernon. Mm-hmm. I don't see the fact that I didn't see that he was inciting war. I see how you can sway it that way.
If you understand the history of the country.
I see how you can sway it that. He said some gangster shit. Mm-hmm. But I think what we're seeing a trend of is they have an issue with the truth. Right? Especially when the truth is offensive to the current establishment.
Right? Okay.
Because that could be inciting war, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's true, then it is what it is. Then if it incites a war, it incites a war. That don't mean you should not say it. Maybe the people on the other side of the fence should stop doing what they're doing instead of telling this person to stop talking about it. So I feel like that's what's happening.
Okay, but to lean on that a little bit, it's also when someone says how much power should one man have, right? But when you think about it, if we reverse the argument of how much power is Jack Dorsey, who is the founder and CEO of Twitter, how much power does he have in his hands now? That this one rinky-dink white boy, you know what I mean, who created this app for people to talk shit on, now has the power to silence heads of states across the world. Right. You know what I mean? And I can understand from if you're standing on that side of the argument on why something needs to be done, because it's like everybody is open to corruption, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't know how Jack Dorsey runs his life. But if you get the wrong person in his ear or the wrong ideology that he picks up on, this man literally has the power to silence.
He did it to Trump.
He did it to Trump and has done it and said he'll be on his ban till 2023, I believe. So it's like, I understand them wanting to prevent something like an Arab Spring or something like a January 6th insurrection, and understanding that his platform could be utilized to incite these type of violence or insurrections or just war. But then also on the flip side, who died and made you king? You know what I mean? Why do you get to silence a whole president of a country? And then also as a politician, why? Because one person has chastised you or said that your rhetoric was inflammatory, do you have a temper tantrum and you ban Twitter for your entire country, not thinking about how it can negatively affect your citizens? Some people are making money off of Twitter. Some people are raising money off of Twitter. Some people are doing real work, you know what I mean, by utilizing that platform, but now you've just silenced them.
Because I think ultimately it's about power and control.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think about the type of personality it would take you to become the president of a country. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to be a pushover. You probably going to have to be a tedious person.
Right.
You know what I mean? You probably pay attention to detail a lot. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to get by you. You're going to power trip over everything.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this It's Daniel D.
Hey, Daniel.
Put some enthusiasm.
Hey, what's up, Erin?
What's going on?
What's up? So,
You can got it.
I think I think the idea is right, but you can't tell a whole country what they can and can't do on a platform like that.
No, he already did
So,
that.
They already banned. Once they deleted his tweet, he got like 20 minutes later and was like, none of the homies is fucking with you.
He passed that already. He already gangstered that shit.
Yeah, but he got the right idea though. That's what we should do here as black people in this country, really. Like, whenever somebody acts up, just take a whole platform away out of the economy. And see, that way they get it. Like, let's say,
but what
one of my fantasies was, like, with football, for instance. On a Monday night game, like, between, like, let's say the Cowboys and the Patriots, okay? So, it's second down. Pre-snap, everybody comes to the line, and then right pre-snap, all the black players and all the black coaches do leave the field. See, and then don't come back. Now,
they ain't coming back.
Right, and they just go into the tunnel. Now, here's what happens though: the whole country sees exactly what our impact is on everything, and then that's how you garner and influence exactly what your position of power is, without them trying to pretend like that's how they dictate it to you. So he did the right thing, right? He said, well, hell with it. If you're going to ban me, ain't nobody going to use your platform here in this whole country. So he did it right, but I don't think he should have told the whole country they can't use it, though.
That's how you do it, nigga. You on my team, you rocking with me, nigga. If I ain't fucking with him,
but I feel like in America that won't work, because the biggest misconception I feel like that is against us is that they feel like black people are monolithic, right? Like we just all believe in one thing. And there's so many subcultures in America that there might be something like, right, you might have the young girls, fuck you, pay me, right? They got that fuck you, pay me attitude, right? One sector of the population is like, oh, they talking the truth, right? But then you might have the church lady sector of the population who is just, that is just complete blasphemy to speak like that as a woman, you know? So it's like, I understand what he's saying, but it's like, at that point, who determines what the central thought is for a whole country or for a whole people because we have to agree to this, that this is what our central theme, goal, ideology is. And anything outside of that, you know what I mean? We're going to have an issue with it, but we can't come together like that. So I feel like it doesn't work.
I feel like that's why I asked you about how they select their leaders. I feel like that's why I feel like if you vote, if you choose for this person to lead you, you can't wait till they get into that position and then say, damn, I didn't do all my research. I ain't really rocking with this nigga.
I agree on that.
That's not how it works. Like, if those people selected that man to lead them, you got to rock with whatever he do. Right. Just like if I'm rolling with my partner, if I'm rolling around with K-Dot and K-Dot jump out on some motherfuckers, I'm rocking with it.
But I'm going to tell you why we jumped out. You know what I'm saying?
Or I'm just not going to be rocking with K-Dot out there.
You know,
right. If I'm with K-Dot and if something happens, that's my nigga I'm rocking with K-Dot. You don't have time to figure out what you did. But let me see that shit out in the car. To
piggyback on that, like, my expectation would be for him to do that if he told me he rock with me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't told me you rock with me and I hop out, ain't my expectation for you to hop out. Right. You know what I'm saying?
But if you vote for somebody, right, and then they hop out there.
But just because the person won does not mean we all voted. Just like we had Trump for president for 4 years, right? Technically, he was voted into office, but there was a huge slew of the population who don't fuck with him. So it's like, do we blindly follow him because that's what he's the one in power now, and that's what he does? Nonetheless, Nigeria can't get on Twitter. Nobody can get on Twitter.
Have they started their own Twitter?
No, they haven't started their own Twitter. And I want to know, why haven't we started our own platforms when we are the one that are fueling and making all of these platforms profitable? When you think about Twitter, when you think about TikTok, when you think about Instagram, you know what I mean?
This is like barriers. And like, it's easier for us to, I'm sorry, not to cut
No, keep going.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's easier for us to get, disillusioned. like once we encounter too many barriers or something that we think is easy, like it should be easy to build platforms for us.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly it's some barriers that we encounter when we try to do it, and then it just doesn't get, you have to be unfortunately, a real resilient Black person to get things done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you're not that ambitious and have a team, and a lot of things I feel for us is like we don't really have a team. It's gonna be, it's either we individually do it or we got one or two people who will be behind us to do some shit. But like that, look how many of us is not like that.
Right.
So not your expectation, but the expectation that we should have so many more things. Yeah, we should, but like if you look at the reality of the situation, you know why we don't have.
I get it, but I feel like people don't realize how much they are policing our culture, right? Because I was on. I'm gonna get to you 1 second, caller. I was on Twitter the other day, and we were watching live tweeting this show I was watching, and I was like, I would have slapped the shit out of him. Right? And they asked me before I post, are you sure you want to post this? Because it sounds like a bullying text. Because I was like, I would, you know what I mean? I would have slapped the shit out of him.
Right.
But it's like now a lot of the ways that people talk, like, a lot of people say bitch and stuff like that, or just, just our vernacular is now considered inflammatory and bullying because they don't understand.
You can't bully an adult, nigga.
You can't. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Yes, you can.
You's a bitch or you ain't, nigga. That's it.
Caller, what's your name and where are you
Hi,
calling
this
from?
is Dana. I'm calling back.
Hey, Dana.
I agree with you about not being able to monetize all the things that our culture makes pop. 93 to 97% of all the bullshit we deal with would end if we were just more organized. That's what's stopping us from getting anywhere. It's organization. The only thing that we do together as a block is vote. Mm-hmm. If we could take the attitude of voting for Democrats into every other area of Black life, then we would win. We could monetize something. All of the other cultures monetize everything. They see us do something, and then they take it, rebrand it, and use it for, to capitalize, to get money.
Right.
I agree, Dana.
And it's like ridiculous, and it's just like, it's just because we cannot get on one accord. We cannot get on the same page. We in different books. We in different bookshelves and different libraries in different parts of the world. We cannot all get on one page for some reason that's just beyond us. And even though, I see it so many times with churches, like they'll all be on one accord, going to this church and being part of this church and being a family, and then a small set of that church will be like, I don't like the way he preaches. I don't like the way he pastors. I don't like the way they lead. I'm going to start my own church. We have too much cheap attitude and not enough, I'm sorry, I don't mean to categorize it, but Indian attitude of a worker. We all can't be.
Because that's what we've been.
We all can't be.
Everybody's conditioned to do a certain thing.
But
we've been taught that.
No, it's definitely that, Kate. I understand that, but I wanted to respond to what Erin was saying about not being able to monetize something that we put on.
No, I hear you and I hear her too. I just feel like a lot of things is just like a lot of stuff we just open our eyes to. Like when the wool's been pulled over your eyes for years and years and years, it's really hard to just come together and unify and get all these things together. Like, yeah, you're very forward thinking. And it's probably like 100 of us out here that's forward thinking.
Right,
but
exactly.
It's millions of us who are still lost.
Well, I also think what it is that when they say that we're not organized and we can't come together, I think innately, if you look at our culture, maybe we can come together, but the way they're wanting us to organize is not innately within our culture of how we organize or how we get things done as a culture, if that makes sense, right? Because it's like if you're ever when you're flying over Europe, and you look out the window, you see all of the houses are in straight lines. You know what I mean? They have blocks, they have straight lines. There's city planning to this shit, right? But if you fly over like an African nation, shit's just wherever your family had land, that's where we're pulling up at. There's no real kind of like definitive like.
But it worked. Like,
but that's my whole point is like, so now we're trying to take a certain sector of people who it worked for them, however it worked for them. And now we're trying to put them into this organizational mindset, which is not
Well, no,
for our
I
culture.
don't feel like we're trying to put them in there. It's just more so like you have to see the greater scope of things. Like everybody just doesn't see. Like if you still need it to be, I know people who work in chaotic situations and work great, but they see it. You know what I'm saying? They see
the chaos.
They see the chaos and they know how to work it. But if you don't,
Right.
if you're not seeing the chaos, you ain't gonna work it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it is just tunnel vision. Like if you used to like I said, there's a lot of things I've learned in the pandemic just about myself being black person in general that I just didn't have any clue about
Like
because
what?
I wasn't paying attention to shit.
Like what? Thank you for calling, Dana.
Thanks, Dana.
Oh, you're
Like,
welcome.
how much
Thanks.
history we don't get out of school. Like I was very fucking good in school, but I probably could have been better if I would have just been more driven to find out about our people. I just took what they taught us.
Caller, what's your name and where you're calling from?
It's me again, of course.
It's
What's
me
up?
again.
Most people of color have fuck that syndrome,
You said
and we need to get
Fuck
over
that
that.
syndrome. I don't think it's a fuck
do you
that
mean, bro?
I don't
syndrome.
know what fuck that syndrome is. Let me explain it to you. Oh, you have to go, and when you fill out paperwork, you have to
I can
pay
see the
money,
shadow.
then you have to fill out more paperwork, then you have to go to 3 different
did, but
meetings,
it's just-
then
it's
you
still
have to
saying it's
man, fuck
restricted.
all that. I'm not finna do that. See, that's the problem.
like, you know
Just
what
like
I'm
you
saying?
said,
I don't know why it's
K-Dot,
telling me that.
we don't have, most black folks don't have patience
Yeah,
for
see,
things
it's
that they
something
think that are
else.
easy to do. That's why a lot of times we don't come together. And there's also the 400 and some odd year training that we got to not to trust each other. That helps too. Once we get over those hurdles, we should be able, just like you said, we should have our own Twitter. We should have our own Instagram. We should be able to, because if it wasn't for us, this shit wouldn't pop like that.
Yeah, but that's not what society teaches us. Like,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's where the fuck that syndrome come from.
well, I don't think it's a fuck that syndrome. I just think it's just like, that's not what you learn. Like, you taught the American dream. You taught
that lie, you mean?
Yeah, you taught a lie. You taught to idolize things that everything we taught is supposed to be comparable to white people.
See,
Exactly.
and I think that's
and then when,
You know
and then
what
when
I'm
you
saying?
get
But,
to that
like, you
door
have
and knock
to-
and they don't
but,
answer,
like, it ain't a
you go,
fuck
well,
that-
what the
like,
fuck
to me,
going
I
on?
don't agree with the
this
fuck
wasn't
that-
for you to begin
Fuck
with, so
that
now you have
mentality.
to
Vern,
do want to go
you
to that
gonna let
door.
us have a
Now you have to
conversation
go
too?
through all
Vern!
this bullshit, and
This
then when
nigga
you
just be
get through the door,
talking.
now you still got to go through bullshit. And a lot of people be like, I'm not built for all that. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, they not built for all that because you already been struggling and hustling and grinding all your fucking life. You get tired. Like,
Right.
I just feel like it ain't a fucking mentality. It's I'm tired. I'm fucking tired of being
Right.
black. Like,
Right.
I'm tired of having to do the extra shit that nobody else that I see around me has to do but me.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's not fuck it. It's just like, damn, how much more? Like, you just have to, you get tired, and then you gotta build the shit back up again and be
me-
resilient again. But it's ambition. Like, you gotta want to do it. Like, I get tired, but then I remotivate myself. You gotta want to do these things. You gotta want to have a black Twitter. You gotta want to do that shit.
I agree 150%.
Like, if you don't want to do it, it ain't fucking. It's just like, shit, I'm just too tired to do it, and somebody else will.
And with that warning and desire to do stuff, you also have to be aware of the traps that come with that. Like I was saying before about where all the leaders go. The leaders have been bamboozled to believe that they have some type of power, and when it's all said and done, all the people that's the real people, all they do is wait and they catch
I
the
just
light.
don't-
But like, you know,
I
I
just
don't
feel
think
like-
we need a leader. Like,
I was just
never-
about to
I
say
never
that we
agree
don't
with
need
that.
a we don't
I
need a
never agree with
leader
that
anymore.
leadership. Like,
because
here's the thing: like, you'll never have a true leader because in order to lead, you have to follow. And like, when certain people get in certain positions, like in the society we live in, like, you done did some cutthroat shit, and now you want to be. In order to maintain your power, you got to still be that person. Like, it's just about, like, we don't need leadership. We need individuality. We need to realize that's just, you know, everything that is created, we created. And we can do it on our own. But, like, that's going to take years and years and years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just everybody just slowly opening up their eyes. And, like,
I don't know. And I think that for me, that's the toughest thing is because I was taught all of this stuff growing up, and now that I think about it, it wasn't
you.
right. I wasn't taught.
Yeah, like,
I wasn't taught in school. It was my parents would taught me this.
Right.
So just the past
But who taught them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they passed that down to you.
Right. And like just with this past couple of weeks where you hear about the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots, right? And for a lot of people, the massacre, I should say, the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. And for a lot of people, this is their first time ever being brought to their radar. And when I was hearing this, I was like, I thought everybody knew about this. Like, I thought this was something that was common knowledge. Like, you know what I mean? Because we grew up knowing about this stuff and talking about this stuff and just having... I have like one of the most two Afrocentric parents ever, but yeah.
No, that's great. Like...
It can't be burning.
Like I said, like, I probably have to call YouTube. Yeah, like, that shit wild.
I think your YouTube is...
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, okay.
From Houston.
What's cracking, McVeigh?
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
First of all, let me say, great conversation thus far, very enlightening on so many levels.
Thank you.
A couple of things that I want to add to the discussion. Being from the South, we get a lot of that Black history, not just from the schools, but because of our elders or whatnot sharing that information, we learn about a lot of things that a lot of people were slow to learn. I just realized, I think maybe last year, listening to the Breakfast Club one day, that they had just discovered what Juneteenth was. And being that I'm in Houston, we've heard that story our entire lives.
Right.
And we have what we call Freedman's Town, where slaves had settled here or whatnot. So we hear a lot of these stories growing up just through our elders or whatnot. So we learn a lot of that history. And I agree with K-Dot. They do hide a lot of that in the school system. And it's getting even worse because now they're using the information today and now they're, jumbling it up to make it mean something else, which is one of the reasons, like, I like the vibe that HNS is on in, like, self-discovery and self-knowledge, which is what we all should be, shooting for and trying to obtain. Someone said something very recently, and excuse me if I run on. One of my buddies had told me, he said, man, one of the things that we got to realize is as much as we get on the young folk might do a lot of stupid stuff, but they'll change the world.
Oh, definitely.
And I say, why? And I said, why is that? I'm sorry, did you have a comment?
No, I said I agree. I'm sorry.
I agree.
And I said, why is that? And I said, because they didn't allow themselves to be indoctrinated in the way that we were. And so as we grew up, like K-Dot just said and Erin agreed, we were taught this American dream. You go to work, you get educated, you go get further information so you can make even more money. You're just on this constant hamster wheel. And so he was pointing out to me that a lot of these young people, 30 and younger, Nick is an example of that with what he's doing with the engineering space, that they have found ways to go out and make money absent of having to work for someone else.
Right.
But even greater than that, while they're going to go get that money, they don't have enough pride and or ego to go work for someone while building up their side hustle and feeding that money and investing into what it is that they actually want to do. And so what Vern just said, I think to get to that path, we need more of those forward thinkers that Kate I just spoke of. And I think that's happening more and more because these young folk kind of seen, hey, I went to college, I've gotten, $100,000 in debt, I make X number of dollars, but I haven't been able to experience whatever, from generation to generation. And they're breaking that mold. I had a young man just tell me about renting apartments in the downtown Houston area and using them as Airbnbs. Never even thought about that as a 42-year-old. A young man buying cash cars and flipping them. Again, never even thought about that. But these young people, they see the world a lot different, absent, of course, the violence and that's attributed to them on the most part. But I think that we may get to that point, but I said this comment before, people of Speedy's generation and Speedy's thought process at 60, my generation, we're going to either have to die off or evolve and get out the way and let these young folk take us to where we've been saying we wanted to go all along.
It's not even evolve. I just feel we have to be more receptive to what they have to say because to piggyback, like young people just have access to more stuff. Like, let me tell you what young white people do. Like, they Google and learn because they want to find out why their parents don't want them to know shit. So, like, that's why a lot of them, and they forward that information on to other people. But we just need to be, like, like Speedy's my nigga, but he's pigeonholed into his way of thinking.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like I had said on another show how, you know, my mother taught me how to be resilient and independent, but in her era, like, instead of just making it, what she should have done was set me up to be successful in my era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just about, but like, even at my age, like, I'm receptive to when a young person speaks to me, I listen, because I also see, like what McVeigh said, is that they're just more intuitive about, you know, getting to things faster than us. They don't have tunnel vision.
And I think that's a great segue to where I wanted to go next, which was the Mayweather Logan Paul fight this weekend.
Business-wise, Mayweather is a genius.
Business-wise, Mayweather is a genius. However, as we're talking about the newer generation and them being able to kind of carve their own path, is if you think about Logan Paul, is that, okay, in 2021 and beyond, the most critical thing anybody can build, whether you're a business or whether you're a person or whatever it is that you're trying to do, is building an audience. That is number one most critical piece of infrastructure that you need if you want to be successful. I feel like 2021 and beyond, right? And what a lot of these YouTube kids, they built this audience not really understanding, or maybe not really grasping the impact that would have years later. You know what I mean? It's like when you invested in Bitcoin back in 2010, you didn't know it was going to be popping. You know what I mean? So it's like they slowly built up this audience that has now put them on this business platform. You know what I mean? That's given them this leeway to have these discussions. But what did everybody think about the Mayweather and the Paul fight? Because think about it, he's a YouTuber, a 26-year-old YouTuber who just makes dumbass fucking videos, you know? And this past weekend,
well, that's his brother. Like,
no,
Jake
they're
Paul.
both, no, they're the same.
They both YouTubers?
They're both YouTubers, Logan and Jake. But that's the thing, is like, you have a man, if we're talking about generations, right? This was a clash of generations this weekend, because you have Floyd Mayweather, where his generation was, you have to put in the hard work. You got to put in the hard work. If you don't put in the hard work, you're not going to get anything out of it, right?
He thought he put in the hard work.
No, he did put in the hard work. He did what he needed to do within his generation to be successful, right?
No, I'm talking about Logan Paul. Like,
he put in
as far as fighting, he thought he did put in the hard work.
Well, I'm not even talking about the fighting. I'm just talking about what positive attributes you needed within that era to become successful, right? So Logan Paul, I feel like, in the same breath, put in his hard work, if it was filming videos or learning about marketing or learning about editing or just learning about his audience and what they want to see and how to leverage brand deals and stuff like that. So each person, I guess, in their own right, is skilled in the skill set of their generation, right? And now you have one person who put in actual, which most people would deem as hard work and a legitimate career. He's a boxer, right?
Well, no choice.
And then you have another one who people don't deem it as a legitimate career. You're a YouTuber, not understanding that you're basically running a television channel. You know what I mean? So all of the work that goes into it. But he built himself up to have a large enough audience and platform to the point where you have somebody as reverend as Mayweather who was like, let's do a fight together. You know what I mean? And I feel like Mayweather is actually the loser in this, because I feel like the way he just positioned the Paul brothers in more of a legitimate lane when it comes to business, you know what I mean? I feel like he kind of, he sprinkled them a little bit, you know?
I doubt it, because they're white.
And let me say this too. So Mayweather actually just spoke on this, and he was saying how other billionaires, they leave their business, they transfer to something else. Nobody sees it as them taking a loss. They just see it as a businessman making business moves.
Right.
He said because he's an athlete, the moment he decides to do anything different than what he's known for, people seem to think that he's taking an L for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But just to give everybody a little history, James Figg was a sword fighter from England. Okay. This is the first person worldwide recognized to beat, of course, white people gonna skew the whatever, but according to the books, he's the first technical boxer, right? Which has started prize fighting, bare knuckle fighting. He was actually a swordsman to begin with, so he used to fight with the swords and shit and all that. People thought he was so good at it that they thought he should just try this shit out, right? So the initial birth of this sport was based on prize fighting.
Okay.
It was just, hey, you're good, let's see what happens. So it's become more technical, right? Because they put black people in it and they see who the big, strongest nigga, and we went down that road. But I think now it's getting back to the origins of it, which is no one really cares about that anymore. no boxer's really been hyped up like it was in the 90s and the 80s and all of that.
For being a boxer.
Right, but everybody still wants to see a fight.
Right.
So I think if we just went back to the prize fighting days now. And I think Floyd Mayweather is seeing that since he fought the Spanish brother, De La Hoya, that's when he became Money Mayweather. After that fight, he changed his name from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather because he realized something about this world. People pay more money to see you lose than they will to see you win.
Or people pay more money.
And that's his business model.
No, his business is like, people are paying to see Floyd get knocked out.
But he never has gotten knocked out.
Right, but like he got more enemies than he do. Like I'm a fan, but the people who paying to see his fight are hoping that he gets knocked out.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you
that's
calling
emotional,
from?
Right.
It's DJ out there, Vegas.
What's cracking, DJ?
I can't call the same old soup, just reheated. How y'all living?
Good.
Good. Good night. I just wanted to speak, you know what I'm saying, as far as, black people, having their own things and such. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but a lot of black apps have tried, like, after Twitter, after Facebook, like they tried all these little back apps to be specific for black people, but they just never worked. And I don't think that we need to come behind these other companies and try to create our own stuff after, as a competition. So there's like, we need to be innovators. Like, how come we never first? How come we have to come
first and somebody stole it?
You actually invented everything first,
yeah,
DJ.
It got stolen.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So now we got to reinvent everything again, nigga. That's a lot of pressure, nigga.
We do.
Reinvent it better.
We do, but I'm saying, as far as like,
I can't just make the computer. I got to make the app too, nigga. Goddamn.
Yeah, you have to if you want the money, because what are we going to do? We're going to complain about the institution. The institution is not treating us fair. They got this institution set up. Well, if we're going to come with our own institutions, like, we have to be first.
But, and DJ, why is the conversation this is interesting. I always wonder, why is our conversation always making money? I feel like when it comes to
that's what, like I said, that's the conditioning, because that's a black people feel like
it's where it starts. You need to feed your family. You need money to survive. You need money to carry
That's how you taught to live. Like, you speaking like a person who fighting to live, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You're not speaking like an innovator. You're not speaking like a creative.
I didn't say I was an innovator.
No, but that's what you're implying. Like, if I'm using too many big words, let me know.
No, you're not.
Okay, cool.
What I'm saying is, I never say that for me. I'm talking as a grand scale.
Well, you're speaking as we all brothers and sisters. Like, we all family. So, like, you speaking for all of us. Like, you know what I'm saying? You generalizing, but you speaking for all of us, essentially. Because you like, why we gotta be like this, and why that's not what you're doing.
So, DJ.
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you watch the Mayweather fight this weekend?
Yes.
Yesterday, what was your take on it?
That nigga was there.
It was great. It was a great exhibition of boxing.
I wouldn't say a great exhibition.
What's your Showtime app?
A lot of people was mad at it, and which they are gonna be mad at it. But a lot of people like Roger Mayweather said a long time ago, most people don't know shit about boxing. You got a you got a lightweight and you got a heavyweight fighting each other. Now everybody is like, Floyd is supposed to knock this dude out who's hella taller than him, hella way more than him. Like, it's an exhibition fight. We still want to see Floyd fight. Like, living in Vegas, Floyd fights is the biggest event that happen in Vegas, and he puts on the greatest show, and he's never lost. So we still want to see that.
He definitely knocked him out.
So you have two people. So basically, down the middle, you have Mike Tyson, who said that he was impressed by Paul, right? He was more of a fighter than he anticipated him to be, right?
Mike Tyson said that?
Mike Tyson said that. And then you have Dana White, who is the head of the UFC, who said that he wants to see Floyd retire because these fights are unnecessary. So where do you guys...
But no, this is what I don't get. Like,
well, that's fucking with Dana's money.
Like, listen, Floyd is one of the best at any sport ever. He's like one of the best, hands down. So for him to fight Jake Paul in this event, yes, people felt like that Jake Paul didn't deserve to be able to fight Mayweather. But he's retired. It's an exhibition. Look at all these other fights. Look at Mike Tyson. Broke, went to jail, all this stuff. Like, all these other boxers ruined their life. But Mike Tyson...
Mike Tyson's not broke. Huh? I said Mike Tyson's not broke.
He's not now.
No, I'm saying he's not where he was. Like, he had to file for bankruptcy. So, yeah, he's rebuilding himself, but he fell off.
Y'all don't
like,
know
look at
about
these
niggas
people. They got brain
bankruptcy,
damage. They can't read good. Like, look at all these problems they have. But Floyd has never fell off. Like, most of these people can't even form a sentence now.
Well, he didn't fall off because he figured out the business. Once he fired his manager, he figured out the business. All Floyd did was cut the middleman out. So that's why he doing good, because he ain't got to pay nobody.
And then he was able to do it on his own terms.
He's doing good because he works for himself.
Right, but like he had to figure that out. Like Mike Tyson figured it out, but he figured it out after he got robbed. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He never really figured it out though, because at the end of his career,
he
had to file for bankruptcy. His 50 Cent had to buy his house. Like, look at Evander Holyfield lost his house. These people have like lost everything, and their health is important because they got beat up in that ring.
No, DJ.
No, but that's not why. Yeah, but like,
if I decide to move tomorrow, it's not because the rollout is doing bad.
Nigga. Okay, move is one thing, but foreclosure is another.
No, that's a legal term. It's a legal term, DJ.
So, DJ,
but sometimes that's how you protect your assets by filing bankruptcy or foreclosing on the house. Like, you may have other.
I believe if you foreclose, you don't have to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
Foreclose, they just take your shit.
You
didn't pay your bill.
No, but if you foreclose,
you get none of that money back.
I know, but I think the purpose.
You don't get your money back on a foreclosure.
I think the purpose of it is to avoid the taxes that you owe on that.
No, the foreclosure is because you can't afford the note.
I know.
You get no money back.
Listen, I'm talking about if I'm the person, right, that's getting my property foreclosed on, right, and I have the money to pay it. Right?
Because you still got to pay property taxes.
Say if I owe on the actual property $50,000 or $100,000, right? But the property taxes well exceed that because I haven't paid that in say 5 years or whatever it is. Then I might just say fuck it, foreclose it, just take it. It's not worth me paying you.
But that's not always.
I know, but I know. Listen, y'all. I'm telling you from the perspective of people that have money. I've been around these people. I've actually dealt with a foreclosure situation on the first house I purchased, and it was either pay the back taxes on that motherfucker plus the whatever I had to pay in the foreclosure, or let the bank take it. So you know what I did? I let the bank take it because it wasn't even worth it.
Because they give you two options. You can foreclose or you can short sale. If you can try to short sale, like...
Right.
Go ahead, DJ. Like,
but how do you even get into that situation?
Because you don't pay, like, you mismanage your money, right? But if you never had money, here's the thing. You never had money, right? Floyd Mayweather came in, he didn't have money, but his daddy was a boxer. Like, he knew the premise of the business.
I feel like he had the boxing part together, the actual athletic part together. So then he was able to focus on the business side of it.
His daddy and his uncle was not rich.
No, we're not saying. But that's a whole point. They weren't rich. You gotta listen in order to understand. Right, like, we listening to you.
Right, because I get it.
Heavy breathe on you?
No, because it's like I understand. I get what I think you're missing. The point is because yes, his father and his uncle weren't rich, right? However, they were skilled in training him up to be a prize fighter. One, and then they probably also got fucked over a fair amount in their pursuit for whatever it is they were doing. So they might not have been rich, but they had enough game to tell that nigga to be like, look, this is the same game they ran on us, so we're not gonna let them run it on us this time.
How do you know?
He doesn't know.
I know because
he doesn't know.
I know people in that camp, and
I've met them. Say one name specifically. Like, I ain't gotta know the person, but like, what's their name?
No, but listen, let me answer.
Rodney.
I also research the stories. I also hear the different situations that they've been through.
Well, you know
like,
what
who was his first?
Say that in court. You know what they'll tell you in court? You can't go by what somebody hears.
So look,
because
DJ,
you don't have operation of their brain. Like none of the shit you say.
So,
hold on,
do you know who his first manager was?
No, I don't care to know who his first manager was.
Okay.
Wasn't it?
Then you don't care. Then just say that.
No, I do care, but I don't care to know his first manager. But is that how you know?
Progression.
Well, look, DJ, they actually have a documentary about this, and my older brother, who's actually a professional boxer, I've dealt with this firsthand. So what he explained to me was they have people in position in the boxing world because it's so many. It's not like the NBA where you have one organization, right? So you can have a million different hands in all these different pots. Mm-hmm. He says, but the situation is like having an agent. An agent is doing nothing but taking your money,
right?
Because as a boxer, they're on the assumption that you have to train 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So you don't have time to do your business.
Right.
There's really no reason for a boxing agency. You understand?
Right.
Their position is they got started by the mob, got involved through this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So the whole business is structured to take the money from the fighter.
But that's how like the music business management started because the mob got it. So they just want to make sure we gonna be the middleman.
Right. So what Floyd Mayweather?
What Floyd do?
What Floyd Mayweather? He's figured out that this guy right here is doing nothing that I can't do.
But I'm paying him 10, 25%.
Right, same thing with marketing and promotion. Mayweather figured this. I can either pay this dude half of my 10% of this shit to go market and promote my shit like every boxer does. They just sit at the table
or
and do
I
this.
Can just talk my
or I
own
can
shit.
just get on TV and talk shit.
Floyd Mayweather essentially pays
But
himself.
he still has that.
His
He still
LLC
has
pays him.
Right.
So like,
Can I explain a point?
sure.
What's your point?
I mean, you ain't made one. But go ahead.
Right.
My point is, look, Mayweather still has that. He still has somebody that handles all of his business.
No, he don't.
What he typically did was he cut out the middleman. His first manager was Jay Prince.
Okay.
After
that tells you a lot right there.
Prince, after he had Jay Prince, he had Al Heyman come in. Al Heyman bought out Jay Prince. So Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather are partners. So just like
So why do you think Jay
promotion?
Prince allowed Al Heyman to buy him out? Because Jay Prince figured out what he needed to figure out from the business portion of the buy.
No.
He didn't need Mayweather.
No. Jay Prince didn't want to be cut out, but he got cut out.
How we know all this?
How you get buyout? Cut out and buyout are two different things.
I don't listen to him.
Because he's no longer doing business with him. When Al Heyman came, Al Heyman said,
You
I
make
can do
my
this, Fred, do that, do that.
motherfucking
He already had experience.
Okay,
And then
good.
he wanted to just take him from Jay Prince. And Floyd told him, no, you can't do that with Jay Prince. He's not that type of dude.
Is
You
that
have
what
to
he
pay
did?
him something to get rid of him.
Because you was there. Because last time I checked, he probably was a child during this time.
Okay. like I said, do you want to know the history or not? Like,
I mean,
'cause I've done the
it's
research,
suspect
you know
coming
what I'm
from you, but I'm listening. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't want to hear it though. But everything I say, you just refute it. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not just gonna say something just to say it.
could
Like, I'm
be,
gonna tell you the
like-
truth.
Okay,
as far as I know it. So.
this leads to, remember how,
Thanks, DJ.
does Ice Cube still have his big three?
Ask
I
DJ.
hope so.
Because I'm just saying this goes to the fact that you might not still be in fighting
No, he
shape.
do. He
You know
do
what I
still
mean?
have the
But
big
you
three.
might still be able to play. So speaking of sports, so today, the former Kansas City Chief coach Brett Reed, who is the son of Andy Reid, he was a former Kansas. Well, I said
Well,
Kansas.
he wasn't coach.
He was
just on the
He was,
staff.
wasn't he? He was one of the.
He was on the staff.
I thought he was like one of. Well, anyways, nonetheless, they have him as coach in the news.
Okay.
I just reported. I don't
No,
make
I
it.
get you.
Anyways, he pleaded not guilty today for the car accident he had
Of
Super
course
Bowl
he
week.
did.
He was on pills. He was high. He was flying in the snow, and he ran into a parked car that was on the shoulder of the freeway. They were waiting for a friend. I believe they had ran out of gas or had a flat tire or something or another, and he's going too fast. He ran into the car. There was a 5-year-old girl who ended up going and had traumatic brain injury. She was in a coma for several weeks. They ended up firing him. He pled not guilty, even though his blood alcohol level was 0.13. Well, 0.113. So I feel like that's good news.
Well, you know why he did that, right? Because he's got out of trouble before.
Well, that was where I was about to go with it.
Yeah,
So
like-
once I was reading up on it just to figure out who he was, apparently in 2007, he pled guilty to a gun and drug charge stemming from a road rage incident. So not only is he irresponsible, he's angry, which also included him carrying a firearm without a license. So he was sentenced to 8 to 23 months in prison for that incident. And he also pled guilty to another DUI and drug charge for a separate incident. So basically, it sounds like to me he's a bad apple and he shouldn't have got let out to begin with, because this is his third offense.
I have a question. If anybody can call in about this, when you get a gun license, does that come with a psych evaluation?
No.
Because I feel like that would be as a citizen, right?
Right.
I can give a fuck if you can hit your target or not.
Right.
I want to know your mental state.
I
want to know if you.
That
have
is the big argument in gun reform and gun control.
No.
That's one
But
of
I
the
don't
big
mean
arguments.
no. But see, I think they're attacking people with mental issues, right? Like trying to establish maybe this person's bipolar or something. That's not what I'm talking about.
No,
you don't have to have.
Rocker,
you don't have to have mental issues.
Are you angry or
Are
something?
you angry? Do you have
like
a
you
short
heard about the police
temper?
officer who got his gun taken away?
And he killed his wife.
Right, and they just gave it back
But,
to
like,
him,
let
and he
me
killed
tell
his
you,
whole family.
It'd be parts
I heard they
missing
have the
that shit.
most,
Like,
like,
I'm pretty sure he didn't say it a million times he was gonna kill his wife.
Yeah,
Like, you
I'm
know
gonna
what
kill this
saying?
bitch.
Right. So like,
Yeah, see,
to
I
me,
think
I don't be
it's yeah.
surprised. Like y'all was just waiting on him to do what y'all already knew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all just prolonged the inevitable.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's me. But anyway,
What's up,
here's the
Vernon?
thing with that. They don't
With
put
what?
this type of shit
with
on
what?
the news
What are you talking
and
about,
glorify this. They don't put this out there.
No,
if
they don't.
do, they'll do it one time. But if he was black, they would have put that shit out 150 different times, and they would have.
Did he get arrested?
Yeah, he got arrested not originally when it first happened. He got arrested after the fact. He got fired.
No, it was another young boy out here. He was 17, he was driving his dad's Lamborghini, racing. Killed a girl. They didn't arrest him until the parents went on the news and kept asking them to arrest him. And then he finally turned himself in. Like, because his parents are rich.
Right.
Like, his dad kept putting it off. Like I said, that man got in trouble.
But I feel
for
like
the same
there
thing
needs to be
already.
a lot of if Brett Reed gets another job this upcoming season,
he's
there
right. He's
definitely
gonna
needs
get
to be
another job.
protests.
Is he a coach?
Trust me.
Yeah, but that don't have nothing to do, like, we don't know what he's saying about his son. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, I'm not
just
talking
because-
about Andy Reid. I'm talking about his son. If
Oh,
his
you
son,
said Andy Reid. Like,
No, I said Brett.
oh, I'm sorry.
So if Brett Reed gets another job, there needs to be
people
some
with
sort of
getting guns
protest.
with mental conditions. I shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, I believe that, Vernon.
But I
I
hate to
should
say,
not have a gun
I mean,
at
but who's
all.
gonna stop
I believe
it?
but
that.
I feel like
No, 'cause think about this.
being
Listen,
a Neanderthal
this is the thing.
is
I don't
a
have
condition.
I don't have a handgun, right? But because I grew up with like little temper problems, not in a long time. You know what I'm saying? But I just grew up that way. I used to carry a knife on me nonstop. I didn't pull it on a couple motherfuckers. You understand? So I just don't want to ever put myself in a. I'd rather keep a gun where I know I might need it.
Right.
If you come in my situation, nigga, it's gonna be a long night. But
Yep.
I don't need it to be out in the world space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And because I understand my temper in my head. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can
It's
talk
Like,
myself out of
different
situations.
People like,
certain
see, it's
things.
different
I
when
can talk
people-
Do
myself
you
out of
own a gun?
situations.
Kid, I?
Look at her. What do you mean? That you
I
own a
carry
gun?
a gun all the
See,
time.
it's different when
Allegedly.
people understand
It's a
who they are.
it's a water
and
gun,
they're
but it's
telling
not.
you-
Okay.
But like, it's not because I want to. Like, I just fit.
Thanks, Vern.
I fit a certain look. Like, even though like I'm not trying to engage in any violence or anything like that. But the city is still the city. I'm still who I am, even though I'm much older now and I make better decisions.
Now, did you grow up carrying guns
No, but like I just
or
got
around guns?
I had been around guns though.
So
like,
how old were you when you got your carry permit, your concealed carry permit?
well, I just got my concealed carry permit like maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, so even
because
okay, makes sense.
it's hell in a handbasket to get. Like
Right, it
here
don't
in
make no-
California,
yeah, it
like
don't
you have
make
to
no
go
sense
through
to
so
have.
much. But like in a southern state,
Right,
like
in
North
Texas,
Carolina, I could have got it like
it's like
in a
buying the
week.
lottery.
Put that shit on your shoulder, nigga.
Yeah.
Carry my pistol right
But
here.
it's just like, you know, I just didn't. I've been in situations where I've been like, damn, you know, this could have went left.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If I didn't allegedly have a water gun.
Right.
Allegedly. Okay, so on another note, today is June 8th, which
June
is Kanye West's birthday.
Happy birthday,
fuck.
Kanye.
Right. The only reason I say that is because today they announced his collaboration. He's doing a collaboration with Gap, which I feel like is full circle because, you know, in early Kanye, college dropout Kanye, he talks about how he used to always
We
work
all
at the
like
Gap.
Kanye.
Right. We love early Kanye. I
Right.
mean, college dropout Kanye. He talks about how he used to work at the Gap, right? And basically he quit or they fired him. But now, 20 years later, he has a collaboration with the Gap, and it's going on pre-sale today. The first
Yeezy.
item is a blue jacket.
It's a bubble coat.
It's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely fucking horrible. It looks like if you put your comforter in the dryer, but you didn't put no tennis balls in there.
I gotta
So
see this.
it's
The,
like
what do you call those people? They'll buy it.
hipsters.
Are they called hipsters or?
Well, it's on sale for $200. And you can pre-order
Well,
it
that's
today.
cheaper than Yeezys.
It's cheaper than Yeezys, but the coat is trash. It's 100%.
No, somebody gonna
Nick,
buy
if you
it.
have a picture, you could.
No, I'm not gonna say if Gap made it, it's a fine quality. Like Gap clothes are good.
Yeah, but it looks horrible.
I mean, yeah, like, well, don't buy it for the looks. They not buying
Do
it
you
for the
see
looks.
it?
They buying
It
it
has
for
no
the
zipper.
name.
It has no buttons. It's
It's
basically
it look
like
it look like
a puffer.
an astronaut.
It's like a puffer
jacket.
cardigan. Is the best way to put it because it has no buttons.
First of all, who wearing that in California? Who wearing that puffy jacket in California?
You have a point. You have a point.
I'm gonna say this, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't, cause this is my thing. Like the nigga's a billionaire off of fashion.
Right.
You feel me? So
And they're wearing them dumbass shoes, the ones that are looking more and more
yeah, I
and
know.
more
You know, them shits
alien-like.
are $300. Them shits look like.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Waffles.
Like I could say this shit is.
But he
corny
has a
as
market
fuck,
and people are
but,
gonna buy it.
I mean, nigga, the nigga
Hype
ain't missed.
beast. That's what I was
Hype
like,
beast,
This fucking
yes.
hype beast.
He
is
has
gonna
it.
buy it.
I don't know. But then again, like we don't live in a society we buy shit for quality no more. It's about.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm
I
tired of
do.
buying cheap
Yeah,
shoes.
I
It's about
buy
attention.
quality.
Who is that?
I don't know. Who is this? You about to get hung up on?
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling
Daniel
from?
D.
Oh, Daniel D. What are you doing?
What's up, Daniel?
What are you doing?
Kidnapping somebody, nigga? What's going on?
Keep your hostages
Just walked
quiet.
out the building.
Keep your hostages
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah.
So
Pull the string tighter.
on the
Gag
on
them.
the
Nah, go ahead. On the what?
on the subject of
I'm trying to show y'all Kanye.
the background check.
Uh-huh.
So on the subject of the background check for the weapons for guns.
Right.
So the main problem is, I think we've already discussed,
Roll your window up.
the person might get checked basically for criminal,
We can't hear you, nigga.
but they don't do a comprehensive.
Hey, you got the call back.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
call
sorry,
back,
Daniel. We
man.
couldn't
Daniel,
hear
we couldn't
you.
hear
You
you.
had too much
You
wind
in
in
a tunnel,
your
right?
background.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, so if anybody is just a Yeezy head, if you collect Yeezy
You can see the
clothing
jacket right
items.
there on the screen.
It's
yeah, look
whack.
on the screen, you can see
It's
it.
definitely whack.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know, K-Dot. This is kind of
No, I
tough,
wouldn't.
man.
It's kind of tough. Like
That's
it
kinda
just is.
tough.
It's
No,
like blue,
It's not tough for me.
I like the icy blue.
The color is cool, but like I said, in
but it has no
California,
shape
like,
to
who's-
it.
Who's
It
gonna
just
wear that
looks
in
like.
California?
Nah, I feel him on this. This is kind of like a Fonz vibe on. I feel Kanye on this.
No, all he doing is taking back. Remember when Bubble Coats was the shit, like in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with Kanye on this.
Okay, let's see.
I fuck with you.
Caller, what's your name and where you? What's up, Daniel?
What's up, Daniel?
Damn,
Couldn't hear
we
you.
can't hear you.
Hello.
You gotta stop dating big girls, man. We can't hear you.
So speaking of artists,
Put
so
your Bluetooth in your other ear.
R. Kelly's trial is coming
Oh,
up on
shit.
August 9th, right? You know, the nigga's
Oh, they're
still in
gonna
jail.
try?
Are we saying free Kels or what?
I don't know, but
I'm not
his
saying
lawyers
free
are saying
Kels,
free
he's
me.
definitely a perv.
So he has a 4-lawyer team. 2 out of the 4 lawyers have filed to withdraw from his case.
Yeah.
Even though his court date,
He's probably running out of money.
his trial date
Probably.
is within 8 weeks. They basically said that they don't have the same viewpoint of how to approach the trial with his other 2 attorneys.
That's better.
What's going on, Daniel?
Now we can hear you.
I had to take my headset off. That headset, something wrong with that headset.
Oh,
That's what we
yeah.
figured.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So-
That's good.
All right. So what I was going to say was, with the background check, it doesn't really cover a comprehensive psychological profile. So that's how you get all these people out here that got weapons that really shouldn't have them. Because if they did, then you wouldn't have a lot of these things like that happen. Like the dude with the dude that killed the 5-year-old boy on the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he already had a propensity for violence.
Yeah,
Right.
he
He
did.
actually
Right.
shouldn't even have the weapons themselves, right?
Right.
But it don't take a lot to get a weapon
It sure
in a
doesn't.
lot of states as far as a background check. Like I think in Texas now, I don't even think you need a license anymore.
Yeah.
No, you don't need a license
the
anymore.
governor did
You don't
that
need a
shit.
license
shit.
to carry.
Wait, California just took back the ban on
assault
assault rifles,
rifles.
so you can get assault rifles now in Cali.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
y'all better go load up, nigga.
Right.
Why?
Y'all better load up, nigga. I don't know. I ain't trying to find out. I feel get
When
me
you
one.
have a society that's
Give me an assault
going to
rifle,
be
nigga.
that
Fuck that.
light on the idea of violence,
We have a
You
sick
know,
society. It's
then
sick.
you're not
It's
going to
sick.
get comprehensive
Yeah,
checks.
they make action
on
heroes, nigga.
people.
Those are famous murderers, nigga.
I get it, but it's like you start to feel like, not that I'm scared because I am definitely protected by the blood of Jesus,
Well, you shouldn't
and He
be scared
does look
as a
out
black
for me.
person.
But what I'm just saying is you don't never know when these niggas decide that they want to have a half-ass day and fuck your day up. You can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to the movies, you can't
Like
go
for
to
me,
church,
it's
you
just
can't.
like,
You know
I
what I mean? It's like
kinda
they
feel
just
like
shooting
we
up
wasn't
every
taught like
fucking
that.
where.
It's just a handful of like niggas who flip out. Like
I'm not
that.
talking about niggas.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm saying.
I'm
like
cool around
Yeah.
niggas.
we're
It's
not
the
the
other
we're not the
ones.
people
You know
who
what,
have
Erin?
the
You know
propensity
what, Erin?
for violence.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the other ones. For
Yeah,
real.
because
Yeah.
if we
You know
did,
what?
we would have
But if
been.
you
overtook the
understand,
world.
what is it? They're Edomites. They're the people of the sword.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
Their
what,
gift
Erin?
is the sword, so we really can't complain about what
My
they're
daddy
doing.
taught me.
Yeah, they're
You know what-
professional
you know what,
killers.
Erin?
Yes.
You shouldn't have to worry about when you go to the movies where the exits are and where you need to sit in the movie, because
You shouldn't, but
this motherfucker who didn't get a proper background check, or in the background check it says right there that he already is 5150, but he not 5150 enough. You know what I mean?
Enough.
That time.
right.
I mean,
You know
I
what
agree,
mean?
but
He
I'm
wasn't that crazy.
everywhere
he
I
wasn't
go,
that
I'm looking
crazy
at the
that
exits.
time.
I'm looking where I'm
This
sitting. I'm
motherfucker
No, you
watching the
should-
people
I'm
around
I'm watching
me.
how many
Like,
white people in there. I'm watching.
Yeah.
That's what I watch.
Right.
Like if I'm around too many of them, that's when I be like, you know what? Maybe I should frequent somewhere.
Yeah, I
else.
leave. I
Yeah,
treat
yeah.
white people like
saying?
sharks, nigga. If I see a shark in the ocean, nigga, I get the fuck out the water. That's
You know
simple,
what?
nigga.
They're just emotionally. They don't know how to deal with anything. Like they're
I'm
just
out.
unstable.
That's true. I was watching The Wizard of Lies, which
Thanks,
is total
thanks.
side note. It's a movie about Bernie Madoff. I watched it
Never
last
seen The
night
Wizard
in
of Oz.
this Wizard of Lies.
Never seen that either. Right.
So I've never seen Wizard of Oz either. But I was watching that last night, and his son committed suicide. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because his dad did the Ponzi scheme, and now they weren't broke, but they were his version of broke, right? So he killed himself, and I'm sitting here watching this like the only thing wrong in this motherfucker's life is that he ain't got no money.
Well, watch
like
anything.
there's nothing else wrong in his life. He's
No.
still
But
living
watch
in the same
anything,
place.
Like watch anything. Like they kill for that.
And I'm just like,
That's
really
what
made
they
him
kill
kill
for.
himself.
They don't
Not
know
the
how
fact
to
that
be
nigga,
poor.
I done had a good
No.
32-year
No,
run on this bitch.
Because
You know
they
what I
don't know how
mean?
to feel poor. They don't know what poor is. They only associate poor with us.
I don't think it's that, K-Dot. I think in their head, they just have a trigger, and anything can trigger it. I watch like Forensic Files and Cold Case and shit all the time. You know what amazes me?
What?
How many white people kill on the individual level?
Yeah.
Like you will have a black person, right? He may shoot up a neighborhood. 2 people will get shot, nigga, in the whole drive-by. The nigga shot 100 rounds. 2 people got hit.
Right.
A white kid will walk into a school and kill 27 people.
What did you see? The two white kids?
Or a serial killer.
The 13 and the 14-year-old from the
who done shootout with the police.
Yes, they yes.
But that's what I'm saying. So like I often wonder what's like when you think about serial killer, like what the nigga, these people ain't did nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? You look at
Some
black
of them
people.
say they just have that craving to what it feels like to kill.
But that's
See,
my
and
point.
that's
That's
the
my
thing.
point though. That's
But
my
like,
point.
like I said,
Niggas
it's
don't
some
have
black
that.
people it's general like, but that's their lineage, in my opinion. Like they're all taught to think that way. Like if you look at now, like
What do you mean? To talk thing what way? Serial killers?
to think,
That's fucked up.
But they're
real.
people of the sword.
Like, that's
if we
for real.
follow the Bible.
Because if you look at the black people who do shit now, like I think I just read an article now, like which I can kind of see. A nigga shot a girl for rejecting him.
that happens all the time.
Right, but like that's an emotional
Emotionally
thing.
unstable. I
Right.
can understand that.
But like white people, like they ain't doing that shit just like that.
Right.
That's a characteristic you get. Like maybe it's a father not in the home. Maybe you weren't loved.
But that's why, like when,
But like white people just generationally
Right.
have been
Everything
doing the
could be
same
raised.
like how your
thing.
dad, because your
Right.
dad is very, he is very set in his ways, and he feels like if you don't want to give a guy your number, you shouldn't give a guy your number. And it's like, nah, nigga, bitches be dying
Right.
behind that. I give everybody my number
Right.
and then block you afterwards.
Smart,
You know what
baby.
I mean? Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
You're talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is serial killers.
Okay.
Who's your favorite, Vern?
Who's your favorite serial?
I don't have a favorite.
Golden State
It's just
Killer.
the simple fact is that
I know a lot of
once
them.
you can
Killer
understand,
Cam.
a lot of times you can't, but a lot of times
Killer Mike.
it's about how they grew up. It's about it's about
Kid.
sometimes it's a lot to do with the brain.
Nah, Vernon.
I'm telling you what I know. It's
How
about
you know you
the
a serial
brain.
killer?
Yeah, you.
He sound like he is. He don't ever leave the basement.
Hey, Vernon, I have a great idea for a show about a serial killer. I'll tell you guys after we get off here and tell me what you guys think.
Okay.
All right, Vernon, we got to get out of here. It's 3 o'clock,
Right, we
man.
got to get out of here.
All
Erin,
right,
yeah, thanks,
okay.
Vernon.
Go
Erin
find
got
some
shit to do.
outfits for this trip.
Oh, you going out of Tuesday?
I am
Yeah.
going. Yes, I'm going to Cabo on Thursday.
Whoop.
Whoop whoop. This is, and you know what is the sad part? It's super sad. This is my very first trip I've ever paid for myself.
Wow. You know what I'm
And
saying? Welcome to adulthood.
nigga, this shit is pricey. I was sitting here like, oh, this is a little expensive.
Were you silly? Well, this is the you chose to go at the wrong time because you could have went to Cabo for like $450 a year ago.
Right, but
2 years ago.
Right. So I'm going on Thursday. I'm excited because, I love to vacation. Anybody that knows me knows that
Man,
I
feel
fucking
you.
love to vacation. Just that feeling you get when you check in and you walk in your room and you're on the resort, and just that it doesn't matter what's going on because all the bullshit is at home.
Right.
That's like, I crave that feeling at all times. I need to live a life of leisure
No,
and
I hope
luxury.
you have a wonderful time.
I hope so too. I think
hope
it'll be
you find
fun.
your little
I'm definitely flying
little
Spirit.
Winston
That's all
out
they
there.
had. So that's a little, I've never flown Spirit
Get you a
before.
little Winston.
But on that note, we're going to wrap it up and we're going to close out with successful Black women, as always.
Whoa.
So this show is sponsored by Twist to Access. Do we have a Twist to Access bottle?
Hang on one second.
Twist to Access.
This show is sponsored by Twist to Access, which is actually hemp and CBD in a cap.
Thank you again,
So
Steven.
they have a great proprietary brand where, which is actually really cool. You'll see this.
Proprietary. I like that shit.
Twist to Access, yes. This one is the Mighty Mango Daiquiri. So let's open it up on camera.
Let's go. Twist to Access.
So if you guys want any of it, it's twisttoaccess.com. That's where you can go. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's Twist to Access. So the cool thing about it is that the hemp and the CBD is in the lid, so it doesn't dilute, and it keeps its potency until you're ready to use it. You would just twist the cap. I don't want to waste it, but you would just twist the cap, and it would all fall into the drink, and then it's ready to be enjoyed. Right.
Bust it to the drink.
Bust it, baby.
Warm.
So once again, that is Twist to Access. It is ran by two beautiful, strong black women. And let me not even say strong black women, because I know we tired of being strong. I want to be weak and taken care of.
Oh.
Nonetheless, and then also on another side note, everybody is familiar with the Maxim Hot 100 list that they've been doing.
Taylor.
They've been doing for years. So this year, the one and only Tiana Taylor was voted the sexiest woman alive for the Maxim Hot 100. So that's great. But in 2021, we're still breaking barriers, and she is the first black woman ever to be named the hottest woman alive.
Her body is banging.
Banging.
But her face give me Fifth Element.
I think she's so gorgeous.
You know what's
I
crazy?
think she's so gorgeous.
You know, I understand what you're saying, but you know what's weird about me? I like
The different feet, like you like.
I like strong definitions, right?
No,
Right.
like she's
whatever it is. It don't matter what it is on a woman. If whatever it is on you, if it's
she's
strong, I
beautiful,
like
but
it.
I'm just
But I
like-
hear what you're saying, because a long time ago, she wasn't always this hot.
No, I feel like she grew into it.
Yeah,
When
she
she was
did.
a little kid, her face.
That
But I
shit was
also think she
strong.
married an ugly nigga, and that just upped
Right.
her looks. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think he's too bad. I
You
mean, their
think a
kids,
Mind Shepherd
their kids
is
are gorgeous.
attractive.
Their kids
are beautiful.
kids are beautiful.
But, like, I didn't see two ugly people make a beautiful kid before.
That part. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I will definitely
for
be back
having
next
me.
week, and I will thank you, K-Dot, for being my very first guest. I appreciate
Yay.
that. I'll tell you guys about how Cabo was, and then I will also tell you the story about how I was awakened on my couch on Sunday evening because someone jumped out the window trying to get away from their abusive boyfriend.
Oh, they got in your house?
From the second floor. Yeah,
Wow.
jumped out the window on the second floor.
Y'all ain't never heard they believe you?
Tiffany had to call the cops. She asked her to call the cops, but
believe-
it's a story for
I'd
the
be like,
ages.
I don't want that nigga beating me, too.
Story for the ages. Thank you. Until
y'all,
next
man.
week.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
and you guys
was.
can catch me at the Stiles Report. That's Stiles with an I, THISTILES report, or THE, I should say.
Go to the other
and then
building.
K-Dot, you can find K-Dot at
_KAYDOTT on IG.
right. That's K-Dot. So check us out. The
Check
Stiles
us
Report.
out.
K-Dot. Thanks for tuning in.
Whoa.
See you guys next week.
All right.
Hey, make sure you guys hit that Cash App.
For real.
It's at the top of this page.
Everybody who
right there.
cashed at me, thank you. I appreciate it.
We out of here, y'all.
We out this bitch.